つきスバル何をどうしたらいいかわかんなくて頭の中しっちゃかめっちゃかなんでしょ
Otto just absolutely hitting the nail on the head here, doing a deep dive on the recent and current mental state of his friend Subaru and how he's trying desperately to do everything on his own rather than to rely on his friends for some support. Not only is this moment great for Otto's character, but it puts Subaru's previously mentioned mental state into focus nicely too.
そうかよ夏希さんの力なんてそんなもんですよ惚れた女の前でカッコつけるのは結構ですよ
I feel like this here is another tip of the cap to Subaru's character, as he used the same move desperately against Julius back in season 1 in a failed attack and then tries the same thing again here with that being noted as being all the strength he really has. Also, it's a small thing but nice addition showing Otto's reflection in his eyes. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on everything coming soon down the pipe. I got loads of content coming your way, so ensure you see it by hitting that bell icon too.
なら誰かの手を借りたらいいじゃないですか例えば友達とか
I swear Otto really is the bestest of best boys!
そのごちゃごちゃを全部話せそして最後に信じろっていやいいんですよ友達なんだから
ReZero really and truly is the story of a young man going through horrific things and all the while just trying to do his best. This story really could have easily been about being invincible, and yet instead, it's so full of character, story, lore, and so much more that it's insane. It's one of the best for me ever.
信じてもらえねえかもしれないんだけど
ReZero just casually creating a stunning looking shot right there.
賭けをしよう俺とお前の願いをチップによもや根性の私が今一度君と顔を合わせる機会があるとは思わなかったよ
Dio being in this anime will never cease to be a win. Also though, it's always so amazing for me to witness Subaru bounce back time and time again from the worst position ever. It's his personality that draws me to him over and over again. He's so fragile and yet at the same time so resilient, and that music is the tops too.
今回を最後だとして私に何を求めるというんだい
They can take another standalone win for these few minutes. Again, I love that song in the background. This anime has one of the greatest official soundtracks ever, and it's criminally unknown as an anime too, which pains me to this day, but anyway, I digress. This scene gets its win for the subtle chess match between these two, putting everything on the table and on the metaphorical line, and again, shows the resilience of Subaru several times overcoming everything that's happened, fixing his eyes on a brighter future, willing it into existence.
わかりました僕は僕で打ち合わせ通りに
That music and Otto's bright personality shining like the sun in the scene upon a grateful Subaru got me all borderline emotional right in this, and seeing metaphors and parallels and everything, not gonna lie. He's such a great character.
賞賛度外視で勝ち目のない方に乗っかるのはこれが初めてです
How can I not win that?
お察しの通り大体のことは網羅してるここの目的とかね
This anime never ceases to amaze me when it comes to the sheer volume of lore stuffed into it. There's just a, quite frankly, crazy amount of information, and none of it is dumped without a second thought. It's all got thought and logic behind it. It all serves a purpose, from the countries and its people to individual characters and their personalities to different races, magic, and so on and so forth. It's like the Lord of the Rings up in here. It's again another small thing, but look at the attention to detail on the exposed brickwork, moss on the roof and side of the window. Just so much dedication to making things look as good and realistic as possible. Dedication!
寝相が悪くてごめん嘘大丈夫ちゃんと夜までにはぐっすり休んでおくから
Emilia being a massive sweetheart as usual and immediately owning up to having told a lie and then trying to put his mind at ease by promising a good night's sleep that evening instead.
氷の中って
私森でずっと氷漬けにされてたの
Nicely and casually bringing the movie back into the anime story.
だから私は森を出たの応戦に参加したの
どうして森のことと応戦に関係があなたが王座を得ることができたならこの森の氷を溶かすことも可能でしょう
Two wins here, firstly for how delicately Subaru is dealing with Emilia in this state, knowing that he has to carefully understand what the issue is from the trial and then proceed with how to solve it, such as him gently guiding her head into his chest for comfort. Second win is for this little reveal about Roswell and finally getting to understand why Emilia entered the selection in the first place, or at the very least how it came about.
よかった。どこに行ってたの？心配したんだから。僕がいなくなれば記憶の蓋が外れるよ。そこできっとリアはたくさん悲しい思いをする。エミリア。
I am so confused and so devastated in equal amounts. This is awful and, like Emilia, it's only made worse by us the viewer now understanding why it's actually happening. That had like 25 frames in it!
エミリア、あなたのことすごく愛してる。
My goodness, that music is so incredibly beautiful! Not gonna lie, the end of the episode confused me a great deal. Perhaps it's because I've been away from the anime now for a very long time since finishing the first half video of season 2. Maybe I missed something set up before now, but maybe not. Regardless though, take a final win here for this first episode. Just the very best pacing and building of tension.
探し物はこれですか？商人は正気を読んで何事も先回りしておくものです。
Otto being an absolute legend and thinking 3 steps ahead against a foe as strong as him.
探し物はこれですか？商人は正気を読んで何事も先回りしておくものです。
Also though, take another win here for how similar this character is to Bakugo. Even some of his lines are pretty similar, I love that.
幼い頃の僕にとって世界は地獄のゆりかごでした。
Once again, 2 separate wins right here. Firstly, for an Otto flashback sequence and an explanation of his own divine protection. Secondly, for this outstanding look at where he grew up, looking massively different to the world we've been shown thus far, with almost a desert kind of feel to it, with this beautiful city scenery shot.
声は届かなくても文字だったら意思疎通ができるかもしれないと気づいてくれたのは7歳上の兄でした。 もうすぐ雨降るって。
God, that is so freaking cool! Get out of here with that! So much of this makes sense now. I can't believe it was revealed to me in a comment years ago that he communicated with his ground dragon to come back and save Subaru after their first encounter against the White Whale when he took off and was sadly taken out by Petalkus and his cult members at the village. Now all of this time later, and finally I come to understand exactly how that works and how it's not some big "oh it's magic" moment, but instead it makes total sense within this world. Just like Reinhardt's protection from the early episodes on display in his fight. As always, I'm in shock and awe when it comes to this story and just how well thought out it is. Also, his brother is amazing, so protective over him and so kind-natured too, and Otto really does take after him as well, trying to be supportive of his bullied younger brother by proving his ability so they wouldn't call him a liar, only for it all to go south as a result of that, and it's wonderful to see his kindness still on display so many years later in his dealings with Subaru in the present.
君はどうやら8番目の恋人です。ひどい。誰かあいつを殺して。うちの権力者の娘を敵に回し、故郷を追放されまして。
Hearing the sad last part of Otto's journey to becoming a merchant, including this gorgeous snow-covered city shot at the end. Not just simply showing him on a cart from different angles, but actually taking the time to show how his trading went from small amounts to more and more, increasing his finances along the way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Emergency Petalkus plot twist! Grab your firearms and head to the front line!
兄ちゃん運がええな。
Oh my god, it's this guy from season 1! He's so cool and now we know what happened here! I love it! This just extremely raw and realistic reaction, man! That's just turned into a battle out of nowhere!
僕の個人戦はここまでってことにしましょう。
Two wins here. First for not giving yourself away before you attack cliche, rampant in pretty much every other anime known to man. But secondly, oh heck yes, Ram's out here!
ただバルスはここ一番の時妙にタイミングのいい男だわ
Extremely rare Ram related compliment. ReZero just pulling out some smooth animation from nowhere and it's got me hyped! Also Ram is sick and the whole scene is sick!
怒らないのは期待してないからじゃないの失敗する私にそれでも優しくしてくれるのはそれならどうして約束守ってくれなかったの
If Season 2 has taught me anything so far, it's that the anime is not concretely focused just on Subaru, but instead it has no issues delving into other characters and their weaknesses and troubles, like this right here. For me, it's just sad though that Subaru rarely has had anyone else to lean on whilst he goes through hell, and yet still props up others around him. Having said that though, Ren was excellent support during Season 1, and Ram and Otto have really helped massively this season, which is great to see.
約束破るのはダメ嘘はダメこんな時にふざけないでよなんで急にそんなこと言うのなんで約束破ったりするのお願いしたこと守ってくれたらそれでいいのになんでそれをしてくれないの
This entire scene, man. It's hard to accurately state how it makes me feel, but if I had to have a stab at it, it's that it reminds me of my own relationship, in that you take all the bad that ever comes because you love the person so fully that it hurts. What Subaru feels and is speaking of is a true demonstration of love, not just some crush or whatever, and he's being completely honest and open here as well, which just shines across to me. Also to be commended is how it isn't turned into a sappy love story right here. She gasps and they embrace or something, but instead she's actively arguing back against his logic, and it's an actual proper heated argument.
約束を守って朝まで一緒にいてくれたらきっと私スバルを信じられた
Pulling a first person tearing up perspective like it's no big deal whatsoever.
大事なこといっぱい忘れて母様のことも忘れてなのに私は間違ってないの
Also, while we're on this scene, let's drop a win for outstanding voice acting from both of them, but especially Emilia here. Just such a beautiful voice, shaking as she goes. It's wonderful. Gonna sound so dumb, but I'm dishing out two wins here. I loved this moment as we finally at long last get to see them embrace, and then that colour palette changes everything warm and bright, and the upbeat music makes me smile, and to say I loved this moment would be selling it really short. Such a great moment in the anime where their feelings are affirmed for one another with some of the best writing I've seen in a long time in an anime, and then the cliffhanger ending with Bakugo-chan awaiting them outside. Gonna avoid showing it for obvious reasons, but as always, ReZero demonstrating how it has zero problem, see what I did there, with diving into darker territory. That's some really bad sounds of nervousness.
フレデリカも聖域を出た。いつかお前が聖域を開くって信じて。
This is probably one of the best demonstrations of how far along Subaru has come as a character, in that he's now using his head so much more and his voice to win battles, and that's excellently put across to us by him taking a step forwards as his enemy takes a step backwards in shock.
俺は母さんに幸せになって欲しかった。
Ooh, something about that music I love so much, and then his voice acting, some of the best I've heard from him, just got me feeling emotional here, plus obviously the subject matter. Oh man, that's good.
母さんはここを出てすぐ崖崩れで死んじまったんだよ。
Oh man, this anime is crazy good at stuff like this.
俺様の手の届く範囲は俺様が全部守る。俺様が結界になるんだ。
Then here, as usual, the plot twists, and Subaru is left with a seemingly impossible task before him as once again things change. That right there once again deserves 2 wins for blowing me away. Subaru has gotten so much better at controlling what is inside him for moments like this and uses his head to gain the upper hand once more, and then as if it wasn't enough already, we get stunning looking animation as he's brought back down to size with not a hint of CGI that I could see, just painstakingly well done animation. This scene probably contains the greatest put together argument of Subaru yet to date. Just flawlessly executed, and I just pray it works effectively against one of his biggest unknowns in this timeline. Oh my god, are you freaking kidding me right now? Massive plot twist alert! I cannot genuinely believe what I just witnessed. He used an unseen hand. This is crazy. I'm dropping 2 fat wins. I mean, it would actually be wrong not to. Bestest doggo to the rescue and getting her own back.
夏希さん、目が覚めてる。いきなり何すんですか。無事でよかったぜ。夏希さんも。
Their friendship is so pure.
考えるだけ無駄よ。今後は何も考えずに頭空っぽで戦いなさい。
Ram using her words in her own way to guide him after his loss in what is actually a very sweet scene where she acknowledges his feelings towards her. He really is a whole lot like Bakugo though, for real. Just maybe, if it's possible, still slightly less hot-headed. This scene and the last just using CGI in such a great way with the particles of light reflecting in the room, and here with the falling leaves. Just such a gorgeous scene, filled with pain at first and then slow acceptance that his mother did really love him after all, and no amount of pain caused to himself could make him forget that deep down. Heck, I think the end of the scene with him finally breaking a lovely smile is worth half of this win alone, and his voice actor did a good job throughout too. The team gained a new member and a great one at that, because even though he's been an obstacle all of this time, and even though we've come to hate him at certain points, he's only ever really doing what he thinks is right at the time, albeit very stubbornly, but still.
きっとうまくいく。俺とエミリアタンのデート券をかけてもいいぜ。
はいはい。
I must admit, I'm loving how far along their relationship has come. It's been brewing a long time, and it's just sweet and wholesome, and I've always been a fan of Emilia. Never hid that, so I'm loving it.
大将がなんだ、ひしこいた結果を。しまった、忘れてた。うるせえ、忘れろ。ガキじゃねえんだから見ないふりしてってガキだった。
This.
スバルのバカ。
Oh man, he's so sweet! So that is what he was doing all along when he snuck out that night. That's like the greatest reveal that I could have ever hoped for. Just trying to put her as much at ease as humanly possible before taking on the trial again. Oh, that's so wholesome! Oh, that end, heck yes. Emilia coming full circle as a character deeply influenced by recent events with Subaru and given so much confidence. That is wonderful to witness. ReZero really does just knock character building out of the damn park.
つまんない。
Oh, she was so cute.
フォルトナ母様たちも隠し事をしてるんだからおはいこだもん。
These memories serve for me as a great reminder as to how stunning looking this world is, since we've been locked inside the sanctuary for such a long time now, with only very brief trips out during the first half of the season. It just looks so warm and bright. It's lovely. Not running on the spot. Genuinely beautiful looking sinuous shot of a town in the forest.
我々こそフォルトナ様にはいつもご負担ばかりおかけして
それこそお互い様よ、ジュース。
Ah, what?
精霊のおかげで季節の変化はあまり森にないんだけど、それでも衣類や本を持ってきてもらえるのは。
It must be said that this story is just outrageously detailed. I mean, seriously, now they throw us this, and it just opens up so many questions when the author really didn't have to go back and dive into this character and all of that. I'm so very impressed.
そのお言葉だけで私は100年の苦悶の時に身を捧げられることでしょう。
What the heck actually happened to him? Take another win, I'm losing my damn mind!
どうしようどうしようどうしようどうしようどうしようどうしよう。ただすごくエミリアに会いたくて。
She's so cute it hurts! Look, in this one, she's stroking her hair!
気をつけなくっちゃ。ささ、今日もジュースたちが来てる。
Okay, I swear this is the last one for cuteness in the first degree, but this stuff should be illegal. How can I be so cruel and not drop one last win when she's actively saying sneak, sneak, and For me, seriously, one of the most adorable characters I've seen in an anime. Rotating view like it's no big deal whatsoever.
シャキッとしろやシャキッと。まさかガーフィールがけじめをつけに先に入るとは思いもよらず。
普段からあれだけ人前でも口説いてるくせに。
Some crazy good voice acting right here from him, and in such an intriguing scene, leaving me so utterly confused as to how he goes from this to the person we now know. Plus the mystery of the seal, which has left me even more confused that I didn't even know what to write about it yet, other than that I'm really confused.
約束は信じる気持ちの表れだから、それを破るのは。
Shout out in general to the detail put into their eyes this season. They may have done it once or twice in the first, but I've noticed it several times during these 4 episodes already. Dedication! In fact, take one more here as well for the animation in general. It's been nothing but smooth and crisp animation goodness from the get-go, as expected from ReZero. Oh my goodness, the end of this episode gets its own win. It was first of all very sweet, but also did an amazing job of, through the whole episode this is, of building Emilia's character. For a long time we've known exactly what she's like and that she's kind, but we never knew how she came to be that way until seeing her upbringing, so that was great. But then the final moment when Cornelius turns up was one of the most tense moments I can recall in recent history for me watching an anime.
そちらで黄昏ていらした姿に見惚れてしまって。
The return of Beatrice after so long!
この森には私以外誰も関われないとそう確約があったはず。確約？
I'm so confused and so on edge and I can't take much more of this!
たち魔女教の本会を成就させるために。
Gorgeous animation as the battle kicks off! Help! That is so good! ReZero really is for me one of the greatest anime ever created, and this second season has only further convinced me of that fact. Getting to witness what begun the transformation of Petal Goose was outstanding, and then at the same time they build a mystery as to the origins of the church, the bishops, and how everything worked, such as the use of the box which granted him powers. To top this all off, we get awesome action scenes which the animation studio must pour money into, since it's all hand animated, looks amazing, and great deep sound effects on the punches as well.
だからちょっとの間だけお別れね。やだよ母様、私お願い、言うことを聞いて。世の誰よりもすごく大好き。
Just a lot of sadness in this scene, a lot of realistic heartfelt moments of realism in general, especially with Emilia's reaction to her mother wanting to leave her, just really hits you in the gut, man.
なんでもない、大丈夫。
Jesus! Man, oh man, this anime gets dark! He blows his own leg off and heals it over with ice like a massive madman! Oh, I'm loving this so much! Also, this is our first look at the Black Serpent!
僕にふざけた口を聞くからこうなる。
Oh, I'm not gonna show it, but he just smashed the little girl witch to pieces! This anime is nuts!
私は待てとそう言いましたよ、コルニアス司教。
It's too good, it needs to be stopped!
彼は自分の屋敷で妻に囲まれて過ごしている。
Stupidly, outrageously, ridiculously, unbearably outstanding turn of events! At long last, we finally get a new OP in this season, but hey, I'm not hating on all of the extra episode length that we've been given. Great OP, awesome song, and really stylish looking visuals. I'm a big fan of how they did the logo, for example, and how it was edited together overall, plus loving the very end with the fact that they drew everyone from the sanctuary just for that one final shot. Yet more dedication!
だってあなたはどう見ても魔女の娘ですから。
Just dropping that on us out of nowhere like it's no big deal, excuse me! This is a good example of style that I love in anime, just different shots and angles, being really creative rather than merely focusing in on the face of the person speaking and then changing to the next person in line to speak. Just demonstrates for me going that extra mile to make your end product look as good as possible.
周りを見て攻撃を仕掛けないと危ないです。
エミリア、どうして？
Plot twist!
エミリア、いや違うの、そんなつもりじゃ。
その気持ちをほんの少し。
Just quickly putting it out there in between scenes of internal body juices being spilled everywhere that I'm also enjoying the more horror or tense-filled tunes of Season 2. It's quite a stark contrast to the more uplifting and battle-themed music of the first season. Another good example of this I pointed out during the first half is the song that plays when Subaru talks to Dio with that dark circus-type song.
約束、よく守ってくれたわね。偉かったわ。偉かった。
This entire scene just really building up the reason why a promise actually means so much to Emilia, since at first you might logically think that she went a little overboard or maybe it was due to her mental state, but in reality it was because of these memories and how much the idea of a promise means to her.
やっと追いついたのです。
ジュース、
フォレドレ様。
ジュース。
エミリア様。
Oh, I'm not showing it, obviously, but damn, he was tricked and hits the wrong target and it's awful and win-worthy in equal measure.
バカだ、バカだ、バカだ、バカだ、バカだ。
His transformation happening before our eyes, and huge credit to Matsuka for that epic transformation in voice.
私、言われたこと何にも守れなくて。
As crazy sad as this moment is, I want to praise the realism of her final moments, in that it's not some epic speech ending with a final breath, but instead it's half nonsense in the moment, talking to her dead brother and sister-in-law before saying a final I love you to Emilia and passing away.
ありましたね。どうやら逆効果がね。死んじゃえ、死んじゃえ。
Again, absolutely not showing it, and you can't make me, you big bully, but take a win for this dark as heck turn in the story as she keeps imploding the witch with icy goodness. Nearly lost it halfway through there. Learning exactly what caused the entire area to freeze over at long last as we witness this pain-filled scene of anger and revenge from such a young and heartbroken Emilia.
残念ですが死にません。私もあなたもいずれ雪が溶け、氷期が終わるように必ずまた出会うことになる。
Also, shout out here to this witch. They could have been made so over-the-top evil, but instead well, they're just very strange, aren't they? She took out her own bishop and sent him away for being too cruel, and then everything that's happened after. She's basically a riddle wrapped inside of an enigma at this stage, using an unknown power developed from who knows where, and I'm loving every second of it.
大好きって何度でも伝えたかった。なら後悔しているかい？後悔なんてしないわ。
This right here is the culmination of how far along Emilia has come within the story, and as far as pacing is concerned, it's probably some of the greatest character growth I've ever seen. I've witnessed people having revelations after 2 or 3 minutes of the story because the pacing was poor, so it was rushed. But this was beyond perfect, and what also helped it along is of course excellent writing. It's been a joy to witness Emilia finding a way to face her past and then forgive herself and accept her actions and to realise love for her mother and how she herself was loved. It's just pushed her to an entirely new level, and I'd be amazed if people are still concerned with Rem versus Emilia after such a detailed story such as this has unfolded. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course they're still going to be obsessed with that.
俺様が一緒について。
待ってください。ガーフィールもまだ無理はいけませんよ。
I'm so loving seeing them all on the same side now. It just feels like a proper team and no one is at risk of saying the wrong thing and ended up being no longer with us, if you catch my meaning, or locked inside a damn basement again. Moving multiple characters within one scene. Take another win here for the end of this episode as Subaru and the boys go to talk to Dono, and the presence of Otto is revealed to have thrown off his understanding of the chess game they're playing. Plus there's loads of funny moments as Otto reacts to everything being said, and finally a last little tidbit of information teasing the next episode as revealing the real reason the Sanctuary exists. Hype! I'm not showing it just in case, but you got a kiss straight out of a damn hentai right there. You go, boy!
君のそれは病ではない。初巻というものだ。
初巻。
Just when I start to think I'm half understanding this world, they come in throwing around new terms and I'm left with my head spinning. This anime's lore is so thick and juicy, it's like a sizzling lore steak or something.
そうならず、両親や兄弟を見返してメイザース家を乗っ取れたのも。
Doing exposition in just the very best of ways by nicely working it logically into the conversation. I just want to use these 30 seconds as an example to show you guys and gals how creative the angles are in this anime. In just these 30 short seconds we get so many views, where loads of others would cut corners and maybe show like 4. Very impressive.
ベアトリス様。
まだやるの?
I'll be totally honest, whilst the previous scene was good at setting up what's coming, it wasn't quite worth a win because it was just talking about it, but now we're heading into a fight! Also though, Yami from Black Clover and a race ahead from My Hero Academia. And then just when you think ReZero will finally stop expanding its lore, they go and give you the Devil of Melancholy or the Warlock of Melancholy. Like, what the heck?
でも、その時間が足りなくなってしまいました。
結界のための時間。あの男が邪魔ならあれ、バカなことを言うんじゃないのよ。お前の身を捧げるって、魔法のことも何も知らないお前に何ができるっていうかしら。
I'm enjoying the continued character personalities that are present here in the past, since I covered a lot during Season 1 and the first half of Season 2 how Betty hates seeing people sad, and that was nicely put across right here.
この麻酔症を触媒に、お前のオドを核にして結界を。
I'm not entirely sure if that's 100% the reason for the Sanctuary to have been created, but man, if it is, that's insane. Built by a witch to protect herself and others from a single crazy powerful dude? I love ReZero so much!
そうやって逃げて、また追われることに怯えて生きるんですか？エキドナ様やロズワール様のおかげで。
Also, I'm really glad to see her character get so much building during this episode, since before now she's appeared to me as more of a robot than anything else, but now we've come to learn so much about her, it's been wonderful, and it makes using her for the core all the worse. In short, this anime just nails character building amongst so many other things.
ベアトリス様。
She's so cruel on the surface pretty much all the time, and then moments like this happen and it's so sad as you witness her true self.
この程度の変化に折れるほど私の400年は軽くはない。あれだけ威勢よくよそ者に噛みついていた君が今やスバル君と愉快な仲間たちの一員だ。
てめえの言葉軽いなロズエル。
それとも君は母を家族を愛していなかったのか？
俺様は別に喧嘩に負けたってだけで大将についたわけじゃねえよ。
I'm not gonna lie, it is incredibly nerve-wracking seeing this game of chess unfold. It's like nothing I've seen before, where it's a war of words that might affect actions. Let me put it this way, if Dio-chan was able to rile him up, have him reconsider his actions, he might, in theory, have turned once again on Subaru, destroying everything. But thankfully, he stands to his principles. But even the fact that he may have switched again got me on edge so much. That is some fantastic storytelling, writing and pacing.
私の400年がただ人のお前に覆されることなどあってたまるものか。
思いは変わらないものだからか。どうしてその弱さばっかり見ようとするんだよ。
私がそれを信じているからだ。あの別れの日に心が粉々に砕かれたまま私は何も変わっていない。 誰か一人でもあの子に言ってやったことがあるのかよ。苦しい時や悲しい時は泣いてもいいんだって。
Not only great animation getting a win here, but absolutely predictably great voice acting all around. Just such a tense scene, and I cannot wait to see what happens next.
俺の名前は夏木スバル、銀色のハーフエルフエミリアの騎士。
That. Oh, so much that, and he does it with such pride. You go, boy. Jesus, finally, after 7 episodes, they take a little time for an ED. They're insane the amount of content they've mashed into each and every episode. I love them. But anyway, it's ED o'clock. Lovely and calming song for starters that begins all grey, and then as the chorus slaps, turns all beautiful and vivid looking, and just puts a smile on this dude's face. Loved it.
今のままじゃ戦力不足もいいとこです。
だったら俺様も行くぜ。
あなたは結界に引っかかるんじゃ。
結界？問題ねえや。は？
Garth is going to the mansion. Garth versus Elsa. This is not a friggin' drill!
その最強ぶり存分に発揮してもらうぞ。期待しろや。
Man, I love their friendship now!
スバルって本当に私のこと好きなのかしら。
バルスはエミリア様のことを誰よりも思っていますよ。
ありがとう。
ご冗談を。ラムが手を貸したのは、協力する価値があると判断したのはエミリア様です。
And here we are, multiple episodes into the tail end of season 2, and the author thinks, you know what would be tasty? Let's give Ram, of all people, some character development. That would be extra tasty. And you know what? He's right. It smells great and tastes even better. Oh my!
そろそろ私からも祝辞を述べさせていただいても構いませんか。
Plot twist!
これも彼の受け売りですか。
ロズワール様。
借り物の言葉と用意された立場。
Yet another prime and awful example of Roswell using words to try and ruin what Subaru has built this time around. I just hope that Emilia is as strong-willed as Garth was.
あなたが言いたいことがそれだけなら、スバルとロズワールは全然同じじゃないわ。
You go, get him, kick him where it hurts! Take one more win here for Emilia being so brave, unlike before, and immediately going back in for the second trial, even though she must have been exhausted, because she refuses to give up on the world after what was an incredibly tense scene where I thought Roswell may have just suddenly attacked her at any moment. Man, now I can finally breathe!
魔女の申しより、あなたを奪いに参りました。
申しね。
I thought maybe I'd be able to breathe, but it seems that was but a fleeting dream, and what happens now? Let's proceed forwards together, arm in arm or something like that, maybe?
あなたが何より頼りとする英知の書。それを手にしていないはずがない。
Yet more tasty Loradar!
君の王法はようやく果たされる。何せ故郷を滅ぼした一員である男にしたくもない忠誠を誓って過ごさなければならなかったんだ。
Learning this, that he wasn't a savior at the time, but instead was one of the people who attacked the village. Plot twist!
ラムでは勝ち目がない。それは明らかです。ですから。
If anyone knows the name of this song, people, stick it in the comments. That just sounds so legendary. It's like a song you'd expect to hear on The Lord of the Rings or something.
そして僕は通りすがりの野良精霊。
Ah, this is so great! And now we have the return of Puck. Take my win!
いい子ね。天使には
She's evil and I hate her, but also looking how she does and being in this anime will never cease to be a win.
頭からお尻まで何一つ理解できない思考ですわね。趣味がいいとは言えませんわよ。アジンの血ね。
Also, though, she's still in this anime looking how she does too, and she saved Petra, and let's go!
スバル、助けてよ。
よし、わかったぜ、ペトラ。遅くなって悪い。でも助けに来たぞ。
Goodness me, that is some epic level timing! What a great understated entrance!
腹渡がりですもの。お腹を開けるシーンなの。
大将の話。
That was so incredible! I'm so hyped I need to calm down!
めえだろ。
Just so much animation greatness, crisp and smooth and fluid as all hell. Even though it doesn't end in the greatest of ways with her smashing him outside of the room and into the wall, meaning a failure of his to convince her, it was still a scene filled with much needed character background and building for Betty, letting us see way more of her true feelings on her life, and then up to the point I just mentioned, Subaru doing an excellent job of starting to convince her. I suppose what also could be praised is how the anime is far from predictable, even when it seems Subaru has all of his ducks in a row. There are still sudden hurdles to overcome.
スバル様、ちゃんとこちらに連れてきていますわ。
そうか。無事に連れ出してくれてありがとう。いいですね。
Some of these visuals are stunning! It's so vivid and bright and clear. It's gorgeous, bruh!
仲良く待っててね。ずっとすごく仲良しでいてね。
Between that music and her faltering words as she struggles to remain composed, it makes for one sad and lovely scene right there.
こんなところに一人で危ないじゃないか。
オーチ。
今日は森に司教様がいらっしゃる日だろう。
Bleh. This whole scene did get me a little emotional in the end, with that amazing song playing and Emilia talking about all of her friends she has now at her side in the present, and how she wants to do right by them and be someone they can look to for strength. That was lovely. Emilia spent so much of her time alone and ostracized by the outside world, hated by the villagers because of her appearance, that it's heartwarming to see the villagers now being so kind to her. Subaru entering her life has really set it on such a better path than was ever possible without him.
それはもう痛い。
Oh, hell no, I'm not even gonna attempt to show that on YouTube, but he took her eye out. Ew! But then coming back in 5 seconds time, it's like automatically re-healed.
魔獣がどんだっけ邪魔しようが笑って吹っ飛ばしてくれんに決まってんだろうが。無理無理無理無理マジ無理マジ無理。暗い価格の真髄粉塵爆発だ。あれ
Just putting it out there, does this mean that science actually works entirely different in this world to ours? If so, that's incredibly clever, making it as such.
いい子ね。振り返らなくて正解よ。
I still really like her. Not much else I can say about that. Also though, take another one here for the blast from the future she saw. A lot of familiar people were saying a lot of out-of-character things, making it insanely intriguing to me. Emilia making it to the end of the third trial, and also how well these witches are still built up in the story as being the furthest thing from one-dimensional. Just beyond stunning animation and CGI mixture right there. Wow. Plot twists! So many plot twists!
指令の加護の力だ。地に足がついてっ限り目の届く場所は俺様の射程ってな。
Garth has his own divine protection, and so does Otto and Reinhard, and I'm genuinely starting to believe that these are all impressive things but very random at the same time. I love it so much! I have to be so careful, and I will, but Garth got stabbed in the shoulder and my boy grew his tiger arm out, huge, and swiped like half of Elsa away, and I'm writing this all hyped up, but I can't be too loud as my wife is taking a nap on the sofa! %50 of the win is for how epic Bakugo's voice actor is as this character, and the other 50% is for the fact that he tore the noggin off of the enemy, and it was crazy!
私の生まれた北方のグステコはとてもとても寒い土地だったわ。私は捨て子でね。
Some Elsa flashbacks starting to give us an understanding of why she is the way that she is, plus a lovely tidbit of world building as she mentions the northern country of Gustico and how cold it is there. This is like as intense as Reinhard vs Elsa during the start of season 1. Just really fast-paced action done perfectly. Dear Lord, they're gnawing on one another! Well, she got crushed. That was amazingly well done, and if it's truly the end of her, that end was fitting to her status in the anime. I'm blown away by Garth as well. Such a thrilling combatant he was. Loved it, truly. Understanding how that fallout came to be between Puck and Emilia, which always greatly confused me, and now it all makes so much sense in that pretty much everything negative that's been happening is all the result of Roswell.
なんです。
ベティが悲しむね、ロズワール。
ウル。
That's reaction from Roswell being super telling and how brilliantly the anime dives from one scene to the next like that. I'm in awe of the pacing of every episode.
遅い。君には悲願を。
ロズワール様を愛しています。
That? Well, that was just unexpected. Not much else to add.
どこを見ている？
It's so good. It's just so good, man. And I think I just realised that when Puck goes into that other form, that is basically the end of everything. And so that's why he reacted in that way. Ugh, and the animation too. All hand-drawn goodness for my eyes. Don't even know what to say here, but it would appear as though Ram was taken out by a huge blast from Roswell after stealing his tome and tossing it into the fire. Continuing to twist the plot into a pretzel, making me think she was really gone. Well played. For the final end of the barrier, it's been so long it feels like a huge thing in the story, even though on the face of it, it's somewhat of a minor thing. The colour palette change was a nice touch too, going from that blue calming glow to now nothing. Just makes me feel a little melancholy, I guess, oddly enough. Well, that was unexpectedly awesome.
ラム生きてる。勝手なことを言わないでよ。もういいってどういうことなの？もういいことなんて何もない。
Emilia has come so far, it's fantastic, gripping him by the collar and yelling some sense into him.
だから私はこれ以上誰のことも諦めたりなんかしない。
Dear Lord, this is outstanding as she suddenly turned around to attack these beasts. Loving it! Tremendous few minutes here, going over Roswell and his descendants, kind of, I think. Not sure how that works just yet, but then leading up to over 400 years to the present day, as Betty goes over all of her experiences during that time, landing on Subaru ultimately in a powerful and touching scene, showing why she is so cold to others and hurt in general, with some season 1 beautiful backing music too.
優しいお前が悲しくないようにそばにいてやりたいよ
I swear to God, this second half is filled with such outstanding scenes over and over again, and I'm blown away, and I just genuinely cannot believe how the composer has been able to outdo themselves time after time with such brilliant sounding music. When you consider everything Subaru has achieved this time around and how many times it came so close to all being over, it really puts into perspective how much he cares for her when he could die in this mansion so easily and then be forced to do it all over perfectly yet again.
お前はバカなのよ。
開口一番にそれかよ。
だってそうかしら。
I so didn't expect this to happen. It's amazing. This anime is fantastic at making me think one thing and then pulling the rug out from under me. As when he landed outside the mansion, I really thought that that was it for her, and yet here we are.
ベアトリス、俺を助けてくれ。辛かった、寂しかったよな。だからその人って存在にすがるお前を誰も責められない。
That scene really hit me hard in the guts, man. First time I've proper teared up this season, I'd say. God, that was just so good, and I felt every line hitting so hard, and Subaru belted his heart out and finally got across to her, and she finally accepted him and let him enter her heart, and it was nothing short of a thing of beauty, and so for that, they can have 2 well-deserved wins in one of the best episodes of the season. Then just an excellent end to the episode, getting its own win as Betty and Subaru arrive to tackle the Blight, and it's put into perspective how far he's come this time around, given how terribly things went in the past at this point. Stunning!
スバル、今はこっちに集中するかしら。後回しにするかしら。スバル。
お前かわいいな。
That. Really impressively and for a long time not walking on the spot.
もう逃がしてあげないから。
すげえ。やった。
本当すごい。スバル、ほら。何か一言この功労者にあっていいと思う。
よくやってくれた。さすがだ、愛してるぜペアコア。
This is like the happiest I've been watching this anime in a very long time. It finally feels like there is actually some hope and joy in the world at long last. It's a strange feeling and I'm loving it. The threat has passed. They finally overcame all of the impossible odds. The great rabbits devoured themselves and ultimately got taken away. Roswell seems to have snapped out of it a bit and Elsa has been destroyed. I'm in awe, truth be told. And most importantly, Ram is okay and Betty is happy and safe.
ベティはスバルの一番になったから禁書庫を出たわけじゃないのよ。スバルをベティの一番にしたいから禁書庫を出てきたかしら。
Oh, that's so sweet.
僕を人でなしと罵るかい。
歯を食いしばるのよ。
The revelation that Roswell is in fact the same person as all the way back then. Plus this well-deserved smack for burning down the library.
え、なんかすごい勢いで顔赤くなってるけど大丈夫？
大丈夫。
Oh yes, that gets a win. I love making cute words like that. Daijobi.
私のお腹の赤ちゃんの話を。
パードン？
でも男の人と女の人がチューしたら赤ちゃんができるんでしょ。
それでは一通りのけじめも行ったというわけで今後の話とかもろもろしたいと思います。
Instead of just forgiving him for everything, they do this, just showing that it wasn't all shoved under the rug and forgotten about, and of course they spend several minutes going over it as well, so it's even better than simple punches, and now you're forgiven, and best of all is his curse placed on himself, forbidding he harm any of them.
悪いことをしたらごめんなさいってしなきゃダメじゃない。
ごめんなさい。
Emilia being super totes cute and adorbs and everything as per the usual and getting a nice formal apology from Roswell in what was a touching scene putting an end to their being enemies.
失うことを繰り返し、その失ったものを取り返すために見えない傷を増やし続ける。
Roswell just really elegantly putting across the real wounds Subaru faces each time he restarts, mentioning these new and invisible wounds. That was really well said. My word, look how gorgeous that scene is. I'm stunned.
今更だけどエミリアタンのその格好超エロかわいいね。
バカ。
Subaru making her smile just now with his pledge, and then that little baka just made me myself laugh.
手伝えることなら何でも手伝うし、わからないことなら一緒に考えるから。
This scene is stupidly gorgeous!
のを見ていいなって思えるのが嬉しいのかも。
あ、それわかる。私もスバルが同じに思ってくれてたら。
I highly doubt it will last for long, but it's really amazing getting to see everyone being okay and having fun now. It's been so long since they were last not in danger in one form or another. Gorgeously animated, wonderful CGI to the outskirts of the scene, and seeing them like this and happy is fantastic. Take one final win here for the second half video, filled to the brim with character and world building and so much lore, it's actually insane, like it blows my mind. I very much hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. I'd love it if you could please hit that like button and leave a comment. This video will be massive and it takes so much time and energy to create them, so I'd love it if you could do that for me. As always, ensure you're subscribed and the bell icon is hit so that you don't miss out on everything coming soon, and of course I'll see you in whatever you choose to watch next. Nathan Byrne, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Mr. Waffle 64, Kieran Robinson, Chris Harris, Yona Stahl, Bernardo Saucedo Munoz, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, The Element Wars, Manuel Morales, Carlito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Sebastian Ramirez, Horror Keeper, Java 6263, Magnus, Kevin Nota, Aniki Curve, Brendan Krier, Kaj Vorzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Amanda, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Adora Blue, Matthew Fitzworth, Sentimento, Gaten 2000, Mackie Sam, Storm 970, Inakami and Water.